Welcome to the Black Queens on Stage podcast, presented by Black Literature and Art Queens Network, where we bring our queens to the stage. Welcome to the podcast where we honor and acknowledge Black women performers and discuss racial issues within Michigan performing venues. My name is Ashley M. Lyle, and today I am joined here with a very popular, very fantastic DJ by the name of Problematic Black Hottie. How are you today?
I'm amazing. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. I've been wanting to do this for a while with you, like I told you before, ever since the artistic director over at Planet Ant told me about you. So I'm really excited to get this interview going with you.
I always love hearing when I come in highly recommended by other people. It makes me feel really good. So I was happy to hear that when you said that.
Yeah. So let's just start off. Why don't you describe to me your style of DJing?
Yeah, it's a good question. I actually kind of think about that pretty often. Well, my style of DJing is really vibe and like energy focused for me. I like to create a mood, a vibe when I DJ. And I think that that's really my favorite thing to do. I like to play a lot of R&B. I'm an R&B kid at heart, so I play a lot of R&B, femme rap. I prefer girl rap and femme rap for sure. Future beats, Afro beats for sure, world music, dance music, and things like that. I try to focus on more feminine sounds and creating a more feminine energy when I DJ.
Well, then I should definitely get you in contact with a really, really fantastic nerdcore rapper. Her name
Mm-hmm.
is Crimson Alchemist. And I
Oh,
actually
sweet
came
name.
across, yeah, I know, right? I came across her a couple of years ago when I first, not first, but when I went to UMaCon.
Mm-hmm.
And she was sitting on a panel full of nothing but guys, and they were talking about rap culture and anime. And like I
Mm-hmm.
said, she was the only female on the panel. And then when I got the
Mm-hmm.
chance to actually listen to her music is dope. It is so dope.
Oh my gosh. And you said she's local?
Yes, she is. She is totally local.
Cool.
Yeah, she's got this one song called Agni Kai. You definitely need to check
Mm.
that out.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll definitely send you her information. And she'll probably, and she just actually, February 14th, she just dropped her EP. And I believe it had, I want to say, I can't remember if it's 4 or 7 songs. It might be 4 songs. But, when she was explaining to me the creation behind her EP, and it just sounds absolutely beautiful and romantic and majestic. I was just falling in love with the EP just from her telling me this.
I in March I did what is Women in Hip Hop Showcase. I wonder if she's ever done that.
I'm trying to think. I think she was talking about it. I don't think that she was part of it, but
Okay.
yeah, I'd have to talk with her and see what she says. So you're a black woman in the industry of DJing, and it's largely dominated by white men. Can you tell me what that's
hmm
like?
Yeah, for sure. That was a fact that I guess I felt it, but I didn't really realize it for sure until I became a DJ. And then I found out that, like, actually, like, 9 out of 10 DJs are men. So, yeah, it can be pretty annoying as having to navigate anything male dominated can be, mostly just like my skill sets maybe not being taken as seriously or having to prove myself in ways that probably man or a guy that's on my same level probably doesn't have to think about. But I've also been experiencing like men not wanting to share opportunities and not wanting to share knowledge or being more open to sharing opportunities and knowledge with other men has been really annoying. but I've also been really fortunate that I've connected with some of the right people to get where I need to get, and also just having faith in my skills and in my journey, and just knowing, like, whatever is for me is for me, and frankly, no man can can get in the way of that. Is really how I look at it.
So, what kind of stereotypes have you come across as a Black woman DJ?
I'm not sure. I don't think about that stuff because I just really don't care. But I think because of the rapidness of the success that I've experienced in the Detroit scene, people probably wondering what I've done to either deserve that or to get to where I am, how fast I got to where I am. So, just sort of things like that, questioning my talent, questioning because and my image, I think, is well, has always just been an important part of me, and so also maybe thinking that I use my image or like my attractiveness to get me more places, and even if I do, it's like, okay, whatever. Like, men use male privilege to get where they need to get, and so having to leverage whatever it is that you have to get where you need to be, but also just the fact that I was just something that the city needed and was looking for, and I seemed to provide something that other DJs didn't seem to cater to. I think has been a major part of why I've been successful. Because honestly, like when I became a DJ in Detroit, it's almost like, have you ever arrived somewhere and people are like, "Oh my God, thank God you're finally here! Like, we've been waiting for you." Like, that's literally what it felt like when I became a DJ in Detroit. It felt like people were like, "Oh, thank goodness you finally arrived! Like, we've been waiting for you this whole time."
Like you finally
So I
brought some
think
color to the mix,
it,
or
yeah,
is that what you mean? Yeah.
yeah, and I think it's also just because I created space and I create space for women, for femmes, for queer people to feel like when you play music that people like and that they want to hear at parties, they feel seen, they feel heard, and they feel comfortable. And that's just what I was doing, like men just weren't playing the music that men don't think about women's tastes. They don't think about women's music tastes. They frankly don't care. I've literally verbatim had male DJs say to me, "You made me think about women's music tastes." Yeah,
Okay.
so exactly. Exactly. So yeah, I'm just playing music that people want to hear and people also, I think, need to hear. Because what's an important part for me is also introducing people to music and sounds that they haven't heard before.
So then tell me, what does your audience look like? Does it vary from venue to venue, or do you have like a regular spot that you go to where, of course, before the virus, where you had a consistent, distinctive look to your audience members? Were there more white people that were at the show? Were there more Black people, more women, more men?
Well, usually I play all over the city. I
Mhm.
had just gotten a residency at Paramita, the record shop and wine bar, so I was there every Thursday, but that was my only consistent gig that I had. Everything, I mean, being a DJ is pretty freelance. You get them as they come kind of situations. So I'm really fortunate that I had a residency, and I usually would have Thursday, Friday, and Saturday shows. So I'm really, really fortunate in that. But yeah, I mostly played all over the city, different venues, different parties, different events, festivals, art shows, art openings, things like that. And as for the demographic of people that follow me and are my audience, I'm actually pretty surprised at how diverse. I'm very pleased with how diverse my fans are. It actually can be kind of stressful sometimes because I'm like, okay, how do I play music and sounds for all of them, but definitely a lot. I have a lot of Black women fans for sure. I have a lot of queer fans as well, definitely. I surprisingly do have a larger white fan base than I anticipated having. And I also very surprisingly have a pretty large middle-aged Black women fan base as well. So yeah, those are sort of the demographics. But on my like Instagram, according to like my follower breakdown, yeah, the I think I have like 60% women from like 18 to 35 here in Detroit is like the biggest chunk of like my following.
Mm, okay,
Hmm.
that's interesting. I think it's really important too when you were, especially when you were talking about how when you would have that moment where you walked into a room and everyone was like, "Thank, I'm so glad that you're here." It's really important to for someone such as yourself, a Black woman that is able to connect with their audience in a way
Hmm.
where their white counterparts cannot. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because I go back to Yumacon because it's that same issue where at the rave, for those of you that don't know, Yumacon is an anime convention where people come together and discuss their mutual likes, loves of anime, pop culture, television, movie series, and whatnot. And the rave, which is just a party, the DJs that they have there are normally techno DJs, so they're just constantly playing techno music, constantly. But then the moment that they actually play a song that is
Hmm.
within the popular music realm, then the party actually gets hyped. But then they only
Hmm.
play that one song and then that's it. So, and it kind of for me, that falls flat. I like techno music. I'm not super into it like that, like maybe some of the
Hmm.
younger kids are. But there was last year at
Hmm.
Yumacon, some a young DJ. He was playing. He had set up his entire setup and everything, playing outside of the rave, and
Hmm.
I swear to God, it was such a huge turnout
Hmm.
that it pulled people out of the rave and into the hallway, which was where
Hmm.
this young DJ was.
Hmm.
Young black man. And he was playing a whole bunch of different, popular black songs, and
Hmm.
he was really getting the party going. And that was probably the most fun that I've ever had at a rave or rave adjacent. But that's
Hmm.
only because, not just because he was playing black music, but because he was playing popular music that
Hmm.
people know. And it's so important because all of the DJs that they normally have and in the rave are normally white men DJs.
Yeah.
I've been going to that convention for 13 years, and I can't even tell you when they've had a black DJ or even a
Hmm.
white DJ. I'm sorry, a black DJ or even a woman DJ.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, totally.
Granted, it's been a minute that I've actually been to the rave simply because of that, because it just doesn't pique my interest anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, like I don't know. I just was tired of going to parties, and yeah, most DJs were men, and just waiting for them to play the music that I wanted to hear, and they just weren't. And so I was like, you know what? Let me just do it myself. Honestly.
I mean, and that's, I think, what honestly gets us as artists like going, especially like I was telling you about the Facebook live conferences that I've been having with other black actors. We got fed up with what was going on, so we just
Mhm.
took it into our own hands and
Mhm.
created this platform where we talked about the Michigan theater's racism that's going on in there and how it can
Mhm.
change.
Yeah. Totally, yeah. And then I realized, like, at first I didn't think that, I sort of downplayed the importance of being a teacher. I was like, oh, it's not that important, the work isn't that important or what have you. But then when I really realized that, yeah, 9 out of 10 DJs are men and they don't care about women's music taste and they don't care that much about playing women's music either. And then I realized, like, oh my God, like, no, this is a really important job because DJs are the middle person between artists and the public, and DJs are the ones that shape and control what the public is listening to. And then when I realized that, I was like, oh my God, this is so important. And if DJs are just like men and they're only playing like men's music and not caring about women's music tastes or women's music or women's culture and preserving those sounds and women's music, like that's really important. And so that's when I really started to take being a DJ seriously, was when I realized we're like sort of like, yeah, we're sound shapers, we're culture shapers, and what we play or don't play is sort of like, I said this when I was talking to Billboard, but it's sort of like a language. Like if you don't speak a language, then it dies. And so if DJs don't play certain music, then that music dies. And so that's when I really started to realize like the importance of being a DJ and the importance of being intentional about the music that I'm selecting.
Yeah, and it's definitely important. And I'm glad that there is a DJ like you, that there are other DJs like you, where they definitely feel that it's necessary to speak the language of music to keep those conversations of music going, you know?
Right. Yeah, exactly.
Explain to me what your goals are as a DJ and what do you hope to achieve long term? Do you have any milestones that you would like to achieve at some point or milestones that you've already achieved?
Yeah, I definitely have milestones I've already achieved, surprisingly, and definitely milestones I am definitely aiming for and want to achieve as well. Yeah, I would love to make DJing like a career, hopefully a high five-figure career. Yeah, because there are DJs out there that make mad, ridiculous amounts of money from doing what we do. And I would not mind being one of them. I really want to be a traveling DJ. I would love to be able to play music all over the world, especially back home in Africa. That would be
Mhm.
super amazing. I'd love to play international festivals for sure. That's my goal. I want to do stuff like Afro punk and, things like that. And yeah, I've already achieved some pretty cool milestones already. Before COVID happened, I got to open for one of my favorite R&B bands, the Free Nationals. I'm definitely trying to open up for some of my favorite rappers. Like I'd love to open for Jungle Pussy or like some of my other favorite femme rappers. That would be really, really cool.
Mhm.
I played at Mopop last summer, so that was really amazing. And yeah, when I did Mopop Fest last summer, I was like, oh yeah, I definitely want to be a festival DJ. I played Kareem Riggins' infamous party, and my name was headlining alongside Common, so that was really
Ooh,
cool.
that is cool.
Yeah, I've DJ'd in Atlanta, which was really amazing. So I DJ'd A3C Fest down there, and I DJ'd one of my favorite parties. I'm definitely aiming for New York and Cali, hopefully soon. I definitely want to DJ in London. I just really mess with London DJs for real.
Mhm.
I want to do Boiler Room. Yeah, there's a lot that I definitely still am trying to achieve and accomplish as a DJ. But yeah, those are some of the things. But definitely being an international DJ for sure.
That's cool. That's really cool. So, how do you build your song list for
hmm
different events? Do you have the same song list that you go by for each event, or do you recreate a song list based on what event you're going to?
It depends on how much time I have for sure. But if I have enough time, I'm kind of uptight about my craft. And so I'm like, oh, I have to make a new set list for every event. But usually I'll ask, whoever booked me a lot of questions about the event. It depends on what time I'm going. It also depends on the venue, if they have seating or if it's a standing venue. If they have seating or if it's a standing venue, then I can play the kind of music I can play are very different. Because if it's only a standing venue, then I definitely have to play like more hype music to keep like people's bodies entertained. But if they have places that they can sit and lounge, then I have a little more range in what I can play.
Hmm.
And I also, yeah, I like to ask a lot of questions about the event, like, you know, what's the event about? What's the vibe you're going for? What are you trying to accomplish with this event? I especially need to know what they're trying to accomplish with the event so that I can play music that can produce the outcome that they're looking for. So that's really how I try to look at it. So those are some of the questions that I ask, and then usually I'll put my library on shuffle after I know those questions. Like what time am I playing? That's also a really important question,
Mm.
because if I'm opening, then I play different music for than if I'm playing at like 1 a.m. So if I'm playing at like 1 a.m., I definitely like I know what I'm playing. Like I have to play like peak party music and things like that. So those are some of the questions I ask. And once I know the answer to those things, then yeah, I just put my library on shuffle. And then sometimes I actually get a vision of the set list and I'm able to curate it pretty fast. But sometimes I don't. So honestly, curating a set list can take me anywhere from an hour to a month, honestly. So yeah, it's usually a feel. I try to create a flow. I sort of look at it, I try to make it feel cinematic or, yeah, move in a different way or like, yeah, I try not to just, some DJs be showing up and just like, oh, I'm gonna play whatever and just like freestyle. But that's definitely not my style. And I also have too much music in my library. I have to make a set list because if I don't, make a set list of however many songs I'm going to play, then having just the option of like thousands of songs will leave me like paralyzed. I'll be like, oh my God, I literally don't know what to play. So I create set lists because I really enjoy organization as well. And so it's just easier for my style to sort of have a set list that I'm working within instead of just having my whole library just there to choose from.
So, explain a moment to me when you had to deal with a difficult client and they doubted your ability to entertain a crowd because you're a woman or because you're a Black woman.
I'm thankful that I usually if a client hires me, it's because like they know what I do and how I do it, and that's why they've hired me. Usually, I have less experience dealing with difficult clients than I do with difficult crowds. It usually be the crowd that's like, oh man. Yeah, usually it's the crowd that I have a tough time with because, so many personalities and it can just go any kind of which way. Or sometimes the client will have hired me, like the wrong DJ for the kind of crowd that the event was for. So that's what happens sometimes. Like I remember a couple, was that last Valentine's Day? Maybe last Valentine's, not this year, but last year. A friend had, or an acquaintance had hired me to DJ their Valentine's Day party, and he told me that he wanted like R&B and all of this stuff. And I get there, and so I curate an R&B Valentine's Day set, and the crowd like absolutely hated it. Like they were not into it at all. They were not feeling it
Really?
whatsoever. This guy came up to me and he was literally like, can you play some hood bleep music? That's not my style at all.
Hmm.
Yeah, and everyone left. I was like, wow,
Oh, wow.
okay.
They were ready to party, to really get down and
Yeah, but I was hired to play an R&B set, so
right.
that's what
You
I
had a
got
whole set.
prepared.
Right.
Yeah. So things like that are like what I'll experience, or like people just thinking that all DJs just play anything and whatever and are just like open format and can play anything on the spot. And it's like, no, that's not the case at all. Like we have our sounds and our preferences, and genres that we don't care to play or don't like to play or and don't play.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'll experience things like that. Or yeah, I was asked the other day to play a Christian set, and I was
Oh
like,
dear.
ooh, no. I am not the DJ for that. So just like funny stuff like that.
So, what other genres of music don't you play?
I don't play techno.
Okay.
I definitely don't play techno. I'll play house, but not techno. Yeah, I definitely refuse to play that. Like I don't refuse. Like it's just not my thing.
Hmm.
And what else? Oh, top 40s.
Hmm.
I
Oh, okay.
definitely will not play top 40s because I mean, you can I don't want to play the music that like you all know. Like
Right.
that's to me. If I don't play like music, if I don't introduce my crowd to music that they've never heard in the set, then to me that I failed as a DJ. If I only
Hmm.
play, I'd be so disappointed when I hear another DJ and they only play music I know. I'm like, oh well, thanks a lot, I guess. Because I really think like one of the most important jobs of being a DJ is introducing people to new music. And so people just be wanting to hear me spin the exact same songs that they hear driving in their car. And it's like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, I refuse to do that.
Hmm.
So, yeah, that's another thing. Well, mostly I'll play what feels good for me. Like, I can only play music that I enjoy. I have to and have fun too.
Hmm.
If I'm not having fun, then I mean, it's like whatever for me.
Hmm.
Like I want to enjoy the set as much as they do.
Tell me, what type of moral support do you get for your DJ career?
Yeah, I guess, things like, yeah, being told I'm someone's favorite DJ. I feel really good when people come to my events and they're like, oh, my friend, said that I would really like you and the music you play. Or, people bringing their friends to hear me spin at sets, or people being excited that I'm playing music that they listen to, and that I feel really good when they're like, oh my God, I can't believe you spun so and so song. Like, I haven't heard any other DJs playing that. Like, I love them, or I love that track. And, things like that feel really good. So, like, my favorite things to hear from, or feedback to hear from, like, my DJ set is, I've never heard that song. Or for me, it's a good DJ set if I hear these three things. Like, if I hear that, they've never heard that song and they want to know what it is, or they forgot that song and they still love it, or that that it was just like, or they ask me like what a track was. So for me, it's a mix of those things: playing music that they know, playing music that they don't know but should, and playing music that they forgot.
Hmm.
Those are the things that I try to aim for. So when people tell me those things, then I know that I've done a good job. Yeah, just coming out and supporting me, showing up, sharing flyers, things like buying merchandise, things like that.
How about family support?
Yeah, my mom, my dad he was the first famous DJ in my home country. So he was extremely excited and happy when I told him that I wanted to be a DJ as well. He was like, hell yeah. When I told him I was like, Dad, I want to be a world famous DJ. He was like, sweet, do it. He made it sound like it was so easy, like just going around to the corner store or something.
Hmm.
But yeah, he was all about it. My mom, she came and visited me from Kenya last summer. And so she came with me to all my gigs, and she got to see me do what I do in my community and who I do it with and who I do it for. And she became like, extra supportive of my DJ work because she was like, oh, wow, like this is really cool and important what you're doing. So that was really awesome. So yeah, my parents are supportive, and since my dad is an artist, he's definitely all about it.
That's great. What's his DJ name?
His name was DJ Frazee, and also
Mm,
my uncle. My uncle is in Atlanta. His brother, he's also a DJ. His name is DJ Gazelle because he's really tall and skinny.
okay.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
What are some things that you do to keep your mental health in check and to keep yourself ready for any event?
I think for me, the most important thing is listening to a wide variety of music, honestly. One is that, and also trying, since I become a DJ, listening to music has taken on a little bit of a different meaning and experience for me. So I've been trying to go back to listening to music just for enjoyment and pleasure, and listening to music that I don't intend on spinning as well is also important. But
Mhm.
definitely having a wide range of music that I listen to is helpful and very inspiring, and helps with how I experience other music, interpret other music, and like figuring out how to put different kinds of musics together. So that's one of the things that I like to do. Watching other DJ sets, listening to mixes, stuff like that. Oh, and also visual things, like watching things is also help, like music videos and other things that help me with just like creating a vibe or creating a story with the music that I'm playing.
Do you have a specific genre of music that you listen to that you normally don't spin?
I've been getting into like weird experimental African music lately
Hmm.
that I wouldn't necessarily play just because I don't think I really have the crowd right now for that. And yeah, sometimes I like some classical music. Yeah, slower stuff, more chill things.
Hmm.
Yeah, I really don't get a chance to play like slower, more relaxed music. Definitely not at events usually. Yeah, I don't get to play as much R&B as I would like to. So I listen to a lot of R&B.
Hmm.
Definitely.
So, what kind of advice do you have for aspiring DJs?
I always say like as long as you know how to count music and you know your music, those are the two most important things. Yeah, and just have a unique sound. That's the most important thing, is yeah, not trying to, like for instance, I'd stopped listening to one of my favorite DJs. He does a mix every week, and I stopped listening to him because I just really wanted to make sure that I was developing my own sound and style and taste, and not just trying to like mimic his. I really wanted to make sure that I had my own sound, personality, and aesthetic.
Hmm.
So those are some of the things that I think are like really important. So yeah, know your music, be able to count your music, find your own sound, aesthetic, and style, and yeah, learn how to use your equipment. I think are some of the most important things.
Okay. So, I'm getting to the final question, and this question is called the Queen's Request.
Mm,
So I would like for you to suggest one or two queens, Michigan queens, whether whatever genre it is, DJing, music, poetry, what have
mm.
you, that we should be looking out for.
That's a great question. There's a lot to choose from, honestly. So I would definitely say some of my favorites are Super Cool Wicked. She's a phenomenal R&B artist, singer, and I'm pretty sure she produces her music as well.
Mm,
She's absolutely one of my favorites. I think she hands down should be up next. And Aya Simone, who is an incredible black femme harpist
mm,
and is truly incredible. Like I've become obsessed with the harp because of her. It's just so ethereal and angelic, and you don't see too many black women, black femme harpists out there. So
hmm.
those are two of some of the ones that I'm thinking of.
And they're both here in Michigan?
Yeah, here in Detroit.
Oh, fantastic.
Hmm.
All right. Well, is there anything that you would like to promote? Any social media information you'd like to drop?
Yeah, just my Instagram at Problematic Black Hottie. Everything is on there. My website, problematicblackhottie.com. I have some more info. You can find all my social medias there. Also find some of my mixes if you wanted to hear some of those. yeah, right now I don't have too much to promote since everything is still kind of on lockdown on my end and in my industry. So yeah, those are just the things that I have to say.
Well, thank you so much. I really enjoyed this conversation with you. I've been dying to speak with you for the longest. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today. Is there anything else that you'd like to say?
Honestly, like just remember that what's for you is for you, and no one can get in the way of that.
That's great. That's perfect.
Pretty
Thank
much
you.
it.
Thank you again.
No problem.